Hey, yeah, so just finishing a cup of tea here before we head out on our little commissioning flight with our new drone. So it turns out we're actually doing a bit of work around the property here at the moment, doing some remedial works, some plastering and stuff like that, including on the roof. We have a bit of a strange roof setup here, to say the least. So it's a really good way to actually test out some of the features on the drone here before we really get out and about with this. So let's take a look at how good the visuals are with this Matrice 4E. Okay, so I'm just going to do a bit of a live talk over on the drone here as it's flying. So we're approaching what is an old chimney breast. Obviously a bit of lead flashing around it there. The roof on this building is pretty old, from the 70s we think. It certainly was built in the 70s. Don't think those concrete roof tiles have been replaced any time in the recent past, but first of all you can see just very quickly, even from quite a few meters away, how good the clarity is here on the imagery of the drone. As I zoom it in and out, I'll have a bit of a play with the cameras here and the zoom function. The drone automatically switches from one camera to another depending on how far you're zooming in, what distance away from the targeted object you are. But as you can see, it really gives you a very clear picture of the materials and the object that you're looking at there. I'm pretty impressed, I have to say, with the clarity on this. My eyesight up close is pretty good, and this looks really good to me, so let me know what you think. Not so sure about the LED flashing, but yeah, this as I said, this roof gives us plenty to look at. So the chimney breast itself, as we're going to look at here, is part of this corner of the building. For some reason they put a sort of old stone feature in up the wall and built the chimney breast with it. As you can see, it's degraded quite a bit over time. You can just see the detail as the camera switches up there. I think I zoom back a little here so it gets it sort of full clarity. You can just see the texture. If you were looking at this from an inspection point of view, obviously you would just see every little micro detail. It's almost scientific in terms of the level of detail that we can see there. So again, pretty impressive. Not impressed with the moss on the bottom of those tiles. It's been pretty moist around here heading into autumn, and this is what you get. So should have got around to spraying that roof earlier in the season, earlier in the year. But going to have a look at just the tiles themselves here with the drone. As you can see, I'm just trying to get a clear shot. The handheld gives us a really good picture there of what we're looking at through the drone. So you can see all the details. If we have micro cracks, we can see them very easily there. That's us just going up to the ridge. Got a bit of moss build up there, as you can see. And again, we're focusing in here just to look at the surface on the ridge tiles themselves. So you can see the camera just going a little bit out of focus. That's it, switching from one camera to the other just to get maximum sort of clarity there. Again, you can see just how detailed it is. There's very little. I'm just at this point just getting used to. Obviously, this is the first real flight of the drone, so I'm just actually trying to understand what way the camera works on it and how they're best positioned and zoomed for the distances we're at. Just flying out the back here, we've got a nice big beech tree, and I thought this would be a good object just to again test out the focus from distance and see the level of clarity that we can achieve. I'll just let the images do the talking here. Check that out. The detail is fantastic. I think David Attenborough himself might be proud of that. Yeah, quite impressed whenever I was able to zoom in from to that level on this tree, just from, I'm gonna say maybe 10 meters away, maybe, or something like that. Certainly 5 to 10 meters away easily. So it just shows you we don't have to go really close to objects to get a massive amount of detail in the video and of course photo shots that we can take when we're looking at stuff with this drone. Seeing some of the nice autumn colours coming through on the leaves there. Okay, so I think you get the picture. That gives us a good taste of what it looks like, even if we were doing a tree inspection or something like that. More natural materials, lovely textures and different colours that we can see there. So moving on then past this, I think I've took the drone away a bit further there just again, but we'll not dwell on that. The last thing I think we're looking at here is actually the grass itself. So I just wanted to test the ability of the drone to look right down 90 degrees from its flying position straight down into the grass to see if we were looking down a chimney pot or something like that. You know, we can do that, of course, and again this sort of demonstrates the level of detail that we can look at here, right down to very fine blades of grass. So all in all, very impressed with our first flight here. I'm excited to see what we can do with this piece of kit. So that's really it. Just a bit of a zoom out here now. I'm flying back to base, and there we go, coming into land, and just missed the helipad slightly there. I'm gonna have to retake that.